Welcome back. You're watching DXB today. Now, Dubai's hospitality industry is a global powerhouse renowned for its luxury, innovation, and world-class service. Our next guest is the founder and chief executive of Gates Hospitality and has been a pivotal figure in the UAE hospitality industry for almost 3 decades. Please welcome to the show Dr. Naim Maadad. Dr. Naim, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you. You made me sound so old.
Oh, I think you need to complain to our team for that because they gave up.
I started when I was very young. That's it.
I'm sure you were 2 when you started. I want to know a little bit more about Gates Hospitality because you're such a prominent company when it comes to specializing and developing unique food and beverage concepts here in the UAE. With your many years of experience, sorry to bring this up again. How do you combine your local and international expertise and cater it to the Dubai audience?
I genuinely believe it's about being connected to any project that you're doing, meaning you need to consider the market maturity, the audience, your competition as well, and the location. So if you really are connected to a project, where it is based and what's happening around you, and then you come up with an amazing, very well-defined purpose of a business, of course, and then you can execute. Globally, the market is at different levels of maturity, the expectation is different, and equally as the means of getting to F&B venues, getting to hotels, getting to resorts is different. So we need to consider all of these points in order to make sure that the market that we're trying to attract is accessible and vice versa.
I know when I'm lucky enough to go around a lot of the restaurants here in Dubai, something that is coming up and it's a hot topic is sustainability. So I'm interested to know what your take is on sustainability in the F&B and hospitality industry.
Look, I love the topic sustainability, and I think genuinely, if people are still talking about sustainability, they've missed the bus. And I think you still hear people talking about plastic straws and plastic bags. For me, that's 10 years ago. Today, it's about traceability. Today, it's about understanding provenance. Today, it's about understanding where the food is really originating from and how well it's being cared for and how little damage it's doing when it's traveling to venues. Mm-hmm. For me, it's about education. And, you take places like the UAE where you have 50, 60, 70 nationalities working in venues, which means different cultures. So if you really take on all of these differences and you bring all their skill sets and learn and share, sustainability is actually very easy. I think the challenge is now it's to make sure that support services to the hospitality industry, supply chain, transportation and so forth, are geared up to actually deliver what we're looking for. This is the biggest challenge.
Definitely, definitely. What do you think a consumer can do in the F&B and hospitality industry to help be more conscious when it comes to sustainability when they're going out dining?
Look, I think a lot of the consumers are more advanced than the industry sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I think there's got to be a recognition. I think we're starting to see a lot on the menus, little QR codes talking about history, talking about traceability, talking about origins and provenance, and I think that's essential. And I think the more that this is a topic that it's at schools, it's at events, it's really brought up at every dinner table, I think it's essential.
Definitely, definitely.
Naim, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
For the young chefs getting started or someone who has a supper club and wants to turn it into a restaurant, do you have any advice and just key pointers for how to be successful, because it is so competitive these days, and how do you succeed?
Look, competitive is a key, as you rightly say, and the market is oversaturated. We have about 15,000 restaurants in the marketplace, so it's a very aggressive playground. Nonetheless, if you do things well, there is a business model, and it does very well, and you get the reputation. You're in the same event last week that I was at, and it's an amazing community that has been developed through these platforms. So I think for young chefs entering the industry, it's about defining purpose and really not losing track of what it is they've set out to do. Not worrying about what next door neighbors are doing or what international market's doing. Focus on the market, focus on authenticity. And I think earlier I heard the question about confusing cultures and cuisines. No need, absolutely no need. I think it's about authenticity. People are looking for authentic experiences. People are interested, like I said, in traceability, interested in the chef's story. So today's dining scene is not about food. It's a lifestyle. And by that, I know it's a very kind of a overused word, lifestyle, but we would like to know who the chef is. We would like to know his experience. We would like to know where he's learnt and who his grandma is and what recipes he or she has actually taken from that kitchen. So for me, it's about really stay authentic, make sure your purpose is very well defined, and understand that the industry is very difficult. It's long hours. We don't open the doors at 12 for lunch, and that's when we start work. We start at 6. You go to markets, you do your shopping, you do your market list, you do your costing. There's a lot. It's a very, very, very demanding industry, but also very rewarding.
Naim, I'm interested to know a little bit about your story, because as we know, you started an undefined number of years ago when you were very, very young, practically a fetus. Where did your passion for hospitality come from?
I was born into a family with hospitality, so from a very young age I've been, behind coffee machines and in the kitchen helping, and I hated every minute of it, if I was to be honest. As a matter of fact, 3 years into economics at Flinders University in Australia, one fine day I packed up, I left the theatre and I went home and I said, I'm not doing this, I don't want to be a politician. And I'm glad I did leave that circus. I went back to the family and I said, I would like to do hospitality school. And I started. I was in Australia in one of the very exclusive resorts, Hayman, after working with the family, that is, Hayman Island Resorts. And from there I was in Japan for 6 years, and Japan really changed me as an individual. Appreciation of food, appreciation of respect to food, quality, and the simplicity of food and what it does. From Japan I actually came to the UAE in 1998, and I've left a couple of times back and forth to Asia, but I've done Singapore, I've done Bangkok, UAE, Tokyo, Queensland. I've covered quite a bit of grounds. I started when I was in a pram.
I want to know a little bit, while, with your expertise in the field of hospitality, it seems to be a very attractive field to be in, particularly in Dubai. Let's talk about some of the challenges, because especially in a place like Dubai, where the service standards are so high and the customer demands can sometimes be a little bit intense, how do you keep up reputation?
Look, it is an incredibly tough industry, and I think, again, one of the obligations that we have as investors, as entrepreneurs, is to make sure we develop the next platform of hoteliers and restaurateurs. And on every stage that I'm at, I'm inviting people to come back to the industry. Because again, the gatekeepers are your parents. They don't want you to work in the service industry. They want you to become a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer. That's the aspiration from a parent into a child, typically. Whereas hospitality is a service industry that try and steer you away. So the biggest challenge today is human capital. It's not spaces, it's not prices, it's not ideas. Human capital, finding people who have the passion to be on their feet for 10 hours every day, executing a service that is consistent, that is exciting, that have a big smile, because nobody comes to our venues to have a bad time. Everybody comes out to enjoy themselves. And for the same reason, what I have started doing last year with the DCT, Dubai College of Tourism, we're doing a mentorship, we're doing an apprenticeship as well, to take all of these amazing students on board and give them a platform to say, here's the industry, that's the classroom, this is the industry. There's a massive gap. And if you really join the dots and show them how exciting it is, how amazing industry it is, because no matter what industry you work in, you can't land anywhere else in the world and find a job, whereas in hospitality you can.
Well, you seem very passionate about it, and we thank you so much, Naim, for being on the show with us today.
Thanks for having me.